And the entire society has a rhythm.
You can see the entire cycle of life by looking at the river. There are people coming in, people dying, people enjoying themselves. Just life. Well, this is like a true example of an ancient civilization on the riverside, whether it's the Nile or whether it's the river Ganga. And this particular place is one of the oldest places in India. It's about 3,000 years old. And most of the building which was here, which you see, was built by the kings. And they made these fortresses so that they could live out here and die out here, next to the Ganga. Varanasi is the place where people come for the last rite. They prefer dying out here because being sacred. To be able to, your last rite to be done at the river Ganga, it's like almost like going back to your mother. And she is the mother of all.
Most of the people in this part of West Africa practice indigenous religions, Vodam and animism. But there are remnants of Benin's rich cultural history, including these Islamic tribesmen, the Kodakali.
This is really a nice scene of these 6 riders coming down this open savanna. It's actually quite extraordinary to think that there's a horse culture here in West Africa. Beautiful. These horses appear to be dancing literally to the rhythm of the drums. Right now I've gotten some pretty sharp shots of these horses really prancing. Now I'm going to try something entirely different. I'm going to take a deliberately long exposure and to try to create something a little more artistic. Now this is a cool angle.
It's incredibly instructive and satisfying to be able to review an image at full frame in the field.
This dance is a really exciting one.
Yeah?
Its name is Egungun.
Egungun.
Egungun is the dance of ghosts. And the dancers are possessed by the spirits of the ancestors. So they're kind of middlemen between ancestors and the living one. Very, very spiritual. That's why you don't even touch the dancers.
All right, so let's take a look, okay?
Never forget, don't touch them.
I actually don't know what's going on, but it's a lot of fun. These dancers are terrorizing the participants. The audience is taunting the dancers, so the dancers respond by chasing them, and they go back and forth, and it's a game of cat and mouse. When these spirit dancers chase the crowd, nobody wants to be touched by them, and I don't want to get touched either. It's just like an elaborate ballet. I've never seen so many different traditions in such a small area. West Africa is a very colorful place.
It's an early start. Ahead is a 9-hour horse ride to visit a truly remote and traditional culture.
Next stop, Satan people. Okay. Well, it's a long ways out here to these Satan people, and we're not there yet. A long ways to go. Clouds are building again. I think it's our afternoon shower.
Well, the rains have arrived as predicted. We're looking for the Satan people. They are nomads. I had no idea how hard it is to find a nomad. Entering yet another valley, we finally get a glimpse of a Satan Ort, or teepee. The small camp beyond seems a fragile footprint in a big landscape.
Hello. I'm Art.
Yeah, he's asking, how was your journey?
Oh, sore. Everything sore. For thousands of years, these nomadic herders have roamed the taiga forests of northern Mongolia. The Satan's close relationship with the reindeer is an ancient one. They're believed to be the first people to have domesticated animals. They depend on their reindeer for transportation, milk, and spiritual sustenance. However, disease and other pressures are drastically reducing the herds. Without their reindeer, the Satan will cease to exist. We're gonna photograph you amongst the homes, okay? So let's walk over this way. You, come with me. I just love using the reindeer as elements to frame this culture. It's moments like this that makes me so happy traveling and photographing cultures. Oh, wow. Okay, let me show you. This woman has had a long and happy life in a very remote part of the world. And look at the wisdom she has. It's a great moment. Thank you. Take a picture of me. Okay, and just... Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm in remote mountains. I don't have too much clicks. No more with you. No more pictures. Little reindeer jockeys. So what are the biggest challenges facing the Satan people today?
There are two. First is economic challenges, and the second one is climate change.
How does that affect them?
As it gets warmer,
Yes.
then it means more bugs and more mosquitoes would come into their summer grazing grounds. Reindeer itself is a very sensitive animal. Flies actually go into their nose and then lay eggs there. Those eggs, when they develop, it creates this very, very nasty thing in their brain. Colder it gets, better it gets for the reindeer.
These people's culture is entirely based on the reindeer, isn't it?
Yes, and then in fact, ta means reindeer, and tatum means the reindeer herder.
What a sight. Just the beauty of these reindeer, and then to see these Satan riders so graceful as they move across this really wild landscape. Wow, look at this guy. He's crossing right now, water splashing. What a backdrop. That is so cool. This is a glimpse into a culture that's existed for centuries, but very little seen by the outside world. I'm always deeply touched by the warm hospitality extended to me by people with so little. Before the long journey home, I've been invited to share a last cup of tea and reindeer milk. I like this flavor. Can I show them some of the pictures I've taken on my laptop? Okay. This is always one of my favorite parts of a trip, is to be able to share my photos with the people. Right? The Mongolian people and the reindeer have managed to coexist in the harshest of conditions for thousands of years. They symbolize both the fragility and the tenacity of a culture on the edge of survival. It takes a lot of hard work by many talented people to make travels to the edge. Imagine spending an entire day in the saddle, high in the alpine meadows of northern Mongolia, enduring rain, wind, bitter cold, and swarms of bugs, all to locate a small group of Satan nomadic reindeer herders. Hello. Throw in mounds of equipment, guides, and visas, jet lag, and you get an idea of the challenges of the show. But my crew is small, resourceful, and tenacious, and they help make these amazing encounters happen. Our show is beautiful. This is the Asia that most of us envision. But making it can get ugly. Early call times, schlepping gear, arguments, and long drives. But in between are the moments of pure beauty, excitement, and culture. This time, journey through Bhutan and Nepal with our crew and see how we make the show. I'm Art Wolf, and this is the making of Travels to the Edge. Good one, Art. You thought so? Okay, good. Grab some lunch. Buddhist religious festivals called seishus are an important part of Bhutanese culture. The dances, performed by monks, reenact the life of Buddha and the history of Bhutan. Of the Paro Dance Festival, and it begins in small monasteries up on the hillside above Paro, and tomorrow it will go down to the main Zong in Paro. All these are dancers that are streaming up this mountainside. This is what it's all about, to be amongst this culture here high in the Himalayas, to see them practicing traditions that are hundreds and hundreds of years old. And it's not being performed for tourists, it is for them.